Good morning. I'm Linell Grundman. I'm a selectman in your town. And
Ralph Vitacco, another
also,
selectman.
And we're here as part of the new televised Selectmen Corner. We're happy to be here. We want to talk to you today about the Substance Abuse Prevention Task Force, that work, and how it got started. We're going to just kind of get a little background from each of us individually and then tell you more about what we're doing.
I think it's important to give our background just to sort of give you a vantage point of why we're passionate about the issue of substance abuse prevention. As you know, I'm a selectman here in town. I'm also a father. I have a daughter in the high school and a son who goes to Forestdale. Prior to coming to Sandwich as a resident, I was a New York City police officer. And during that time, I was involved with numerous drug arrests, and also I had worked on several anti-crime plans which helped reduce the overall crime in the city of New York. So with that background and a concern as a parent and a citizen of this town, I decided it was time that we start taking a serious look at drug prevention.
And I have to say that Ralph's presence on the Board of Selectmen inspired me because I felt there was definitely a partner on the Board of Selectmen to lift this issue up. My background, as you know, I'm going in my second term as selectman, and I have quite a varied background. Professionally, I began with the Department of Defense in an entity called Morale Support and Recreation, which is specifically devised during the Cold War to deal with communities overseas and to help keep them emotionally healthy. And so I've kind of always had my ear to the ground on this, and I would have to echo Ralph. Being a parent, of course, makes me very interested in this issue, and also I've seen that a lot of damage that it's done, most specifically and tragically to young people that have committed suicide. And I am a recovering from alcohol addiction of severe critical issue that happened here in this environment after moving here. And so the environmental concerns that we have in this town are personal to me on that very personal level, but also due to other people that I know. And I come from a long line of substance issues at the different communities that I've lived. And what I am most struck by, and I think that we have the hope of dealing with, is that there's a lot of help out there, but nothing's changing. The numbers for our young people are going up and up and up, and we're enveloped in a culture that makes light of substance use, and we need to do something about it in our town. So Ralph and I both care about our town, and we care about this issue, and because we spoke up at the same time, we put together a substance abuse prevention task force to look at that, and Ralph's going to give you kind of the history. Just to remind you, it's happened very fast, so
right.
It's a little over a year.
Right. Just to put it into context, when I ran for selectman, one of the planks I was running on was to take a look at substance abuse in this town. And about in November of 2010, this family came to the Board of Selectmen, and at public forum, they talked about how drugs affected their family and how it was ruining their family and their lives, and that they were not alone here in the town of Sandwich. So, powered with that and my commitment to drug prevention, I brought up in front of the selectmen that we should take a look at this problem, particularly now that we had a new police chief. Again, that's the background I'm familiar with, thinking that he would have some good ideas to bring to the table. And with the support of Linell, we decided that it was not just a policing issue to deal with drug prevention, but we should look at a comprehensive plan which involves the police, the schools, social workers, the business community, and our spiritual leaders out in the community. In addition to the work we were doing in pulling this panel together, there is also a group, the
Cape Youth Project.
The Cape Youth Project, which was working concurrently to help stem the use of drugs here in town. So we pulled this task force together, and I believe it was probably February of last year that at a Selectmens meeting we had a panel discussion on what.
And I want to add one thing that's just to build on what you said. What was so critical about the first group we pulled together, which was essentially an ad hoc group, we brought together Cape Youth, the Cape Youth Program project. We brought together our town manager, our police chief, and superintendent of schools. What was really great about that is that it was the statement that this is a community problem, because often we expect these things to be handled in our schools. And what has been refreshing about this group as we've gone through the process is that it's been clear. The evidence of that was our own town manager. The first thing we needed to accomplish was a risky behavior survey that had never been done in our community. At that table that very day, our town manager found the funds for us to go ahead with that plan.
Right, and again, our approach is a comprehensive approach.
Yep.
So we had many sectors of the community at the table at that day, and who were committed to helping. Soon thereafter, we made the first initial steps in creating our substance abuse prevention task force. One of the first meetings we had a consultant who said we have to have a baseline as to where we're at with substance abuse, the actuality of it, the perception of it, where we are, where we should go. And again, with the thanks from our town manager, Bud Dunham, he came up with the funds so we can do the survey, and that was phase one. That was phase one to do the survey, and with the support of monetary support from the town and the manpower support from the school, we were able to distribute and conduct that survey at the end of May of 2012.
2011.
2011.
Yep.
Thank you. Throughout that time, before we got the survey back, we were starting having meetings, and we were pulling our coalition together. And about from all sectors of society, we have about
21 members.
We have 20,
currently 21 members.
We have 21 members
Yep.
of the
official task force.
Of the official task force.
Which became official in August.
Exactly. So we, while we were getting back the survey results, we realized that there is some grant money out there, and that is the drug-free community grant money. That precipitated us to make this task force an official committee of the town. And in August of 2011, we went before the board and asked them to recognize the Sandwich Substance Abuse Prevention Task Force as an official committee of the town. It was greeted very well, and we received unanimous support. And from that time, we've been working together. We've established an executive board, and right now, one of our major goals are to see what we can do right now as a community, and that's.
I'm just going to give you the breakdown of what's been happening with the official task force. Yes, Ralph and I were thrilled that the Board of Selectmen supported the official task force. The representation comes a lot from the schools. We asked that we either have the administrators from all of our schools or a representative, and all the administrators came to the table. We have our head nurse for the schools. We have our public health nurse on the task force. We have the head of our recreation department. We have the chief of police. We have the superintendent of schools. We have the executive head of the YMCA of Cape Cod. We have the executive leader of the Cape Cod Boys and Girls Club on our task force. We have the director of the Cape Youth Project on our task force. So we are...
and we have community members?
We have 2 parents, wonderful parents, both have been affected by substance abuse and are committed and passionate. And so that task force, and we have school committee members. The task force has kind of been meeting to decide, well, where do we go next? So we did form some subgroups, including an outreach group that I think has been very effective. That outreach group has, we also have our social worker from the high school, social worker from the high school, head nurse. Coincidentally, our school system is going through the implementation of a healthy communities plan, a healthy school plan that's also being directed by state guidelines. So and we have a new head nurse who has a lot of background in substance abuse education and community awareness building. So we've got some great talent, including our new police chief, at the table. So the outreach, for example, the outreach committee has already accomplished something that happened years ago called Sandwich Cares, which are little ribbons that are black and white, I can't believe I don't have one on, that go in the liquor stores and places that sell alcohol that remind people, we don't sell to minors, please don't serve to minors, because one of the indicators on our risky behavior survey was that a lot of underage kids are being served alcohol in this town. So the task force has taken steps to kind of define itself. We also then brought back the consultants that help us put together the survey to do a workshop for our task force members, and of course it was open to the public, that covered the results of the survey, and then we broke out into groups to look at well, what are our main goals, and that was very helpful. That was in November. Yeah. Since then we've turned our focus. Oh, go ahead. You were gonna
and I think one of the things we found out from the survey is the perception, such a high perception of drug and alcohol use here in town. And to combat that, I want to say that the police chief is working on some bylaws, right, as a result of this prevention task force, working on some bylaws to deal with marijuana usage and
under an ounce,
and also drug paraphernalia. Also, we gave them our support when also, remember, at the same time, November, the bath salts issue was coming out.
And spice. Salts and spice. We found out kids in town were going to stores in town. These are legal substances, but they are synthetic narcotics that actually, some of them have already killed kids. They have chemicals in them that can kill. We found out there were stores in our town selling them, and because of the awareness that's been raised even in the leadership in town through the task force, our police instantly started to talk to these storekeepers and convince them that this was not a good thing for our town. And the legislation has been accomplished in the Senate. It's in the House on Beacon Hill. The Commonwealth is looking at legislation that has a component of that legislation that deals with classifying these what they call synthetic drug substances, salts and spice, classifying them as Class C drugs and against the law. Right. So the synergy that's been created has been terrific, and now we're focused on a drug-free community grant application. I'm going to let Ralph tell you about that.
The drug-free community grant application, this is a nationwide competitive grant, and what it is, it's a grant where communities will receive a total of $650,000. It's a 5-year grant, $125,000 each year. The intent of this grant is to look at a community, develop an action plan for drug prevention. This is a solutions-based grant. We're looking to stem drug usage for individuals before it becomes an issue. Part of that grant would be to hire one full-time and one part-time administrator of the program, and we are looking very aggressively at applying for that grant. We have some very close deadlines, and it's very heartening to see the commitment of all the individuals on the Substance Abuse Task Force. We have to get the grant in by the end of March, and there are 12 serious heavy-duty questions that we have to answer as part of the grant. And each one of the task force members has taken that upon themselves to answer that question, to pull it together. We were very fortunate to get Kate Garofoli, a member,
Catherine Garofoli.
Garofoli. She's from
Awesome.
the county, Barnstable County. She's a grant writer. And Linell contacted her in December, right after.
Oh, actually, it was October.
October.
She came to our workshop in November.
Right, that's right.
Yep.
And she's been extremely helpful and fantastic in helping us pull this together.
She's awesome, and I want everybody to know this is a county service, so rather than having to go out and contract, find the funding to hire a grant writer, this is all part of what we pay to the county. Right. She's just wonderful. We're really lucky to have her. She's keeping us on task.
Right. And the thing is, people will say, well, why do we need this program here in Sandwich? As we say, we're not here to scare you. We're here to inform you that there is a problem out there, and that if we get to solutions first, the problem diminishes. This is not a grant that you say somewhere in Boston or one of the larger communities should have. One just close to home, Martha's Vineyard, has received the grant, and you could say
they just finished their 5th year.
They finished their 5th year.
Because the good thing about this grant, tell them, you get it one year,
and you don't have to compete for it until it's
year 5.
It's competitive free for the 5 years you have it, and you can have a total of 10 years for the grant. So we are looking at the plan we're going to put in place, and we're also looking at the sustainability of the program, because that is a key component to receiving the grant. And I believe that's a key component as to what we want to do. This is not just an issue that we bring to the table and have a few quotes in the newspaper and let it die down. I remember when that family came in November of 2010, I said, I will not let this rest. And I was very fortunate to have the energy of Linell behind me, who has really been driving this task force, keeping it up front, and making sure that this portion of what we're trying to do is sustained and moves forward. Because so often issues are brought up at our table, brought up at coffee shops around town, a complaint is made, and it's just left to linger in the wind. I think now, particularly with the drug issue, we have the leadership in place, and we have individuals who are committed and who are professional in dealing with this task to find resolution.
And the plan for us will come through the grant process. What's really unique about the grant is, and probably not unlike other grant processes, the process is actually helping us bring together our ideas, bring together the people that will be involved in the implementation. There are 12 sectors of the community that need to be represented in the actual grant application, and they represent the collaboration that needs to occur between the schools, the businesses, the clergy, youth organizations. Ruth Provost has been extremely helpful and active member on our task force, because all of the work that needs to be done in Sandwich is work that needs to be done Cape-wide. And I love what Ralph said, we're not here to scare you. But the other piece of that is we need to be realistic, that the numbers, particularly Cape-wide, just keep going up and up and up. So Ralph and I, we're concerned about our community for many of the same reasons, and our own as well, and the fact that we have a responsibility as selectmen. But we know that what we're doing here will have an impact on the Cape as well, and that it will help create best practice, because it is the best practice that we need to create. For example, something that I've really learned is the disconnect between the perspectives. that come to the solutions look different to everybody. They look different to the police. For the police, they look strictly at enforcement, so they have limited resources. So they look at that, well, let's get the big dealers, let's get the people that are bringing the drugs. Where that's important, the people in the community they want us to deal with the perception problem. They want us to care about where these drugs are being dealt on the high school. And the perception issue is really key. It was one of the most fascinating pieces that we discovered. If the perception is high that this is a drug town, then our younger kids think that they're falling into a cool pattern as opposed to the realities of what involvement in drug activity can do to their brain. We've got some wonderful people too from the school, like the new school nurse, Carolyn Raines, is very aware that the part of the conversation where substance abuse is concerned now has to do with what these substances do to developing brains. The adults can drink, maybe, some of us, some of you, but kids who drink, it has a lifetime impact on their cognitive abilities, their emotional abilities. These are not moral issues, these are scientific issues, and we're so happy to have all the people at the table. For us, the next step is to pull together the grant, which requires this a very intense 6 weeks kind of turnaround. And we'll be reaching out to the community. I wanted to make sure that we announced Monday, March 5th at our high school, 7 o'clock, Monday, March 5th, 7 o'clock, the Joint Committee from State Government on Mental Health and Substance Abuse. Our state representative, Randy Hunt, is a member of that community. They are bringing a public forum to our community on the issue of substance abuse with a panel of experts, including a program that's being done right here in the Cape through the Sheriff's Department, a new program that's being done through Gosnell. There'll be some local experts. That will be open to the public. Obviously, we welcome everyone. It should be very important. And Representative Hunt was with us last night at our meeting, and he emphasized, and it was such a good thing, the same thing that Ralph said. We need solutions-oriented. He said we've spent a lot of time, and I agree with him, talking about the devastating effect that it's had on ourselves, our community, and now we need to move into the solutions. So thank you for listening to us.
No, and again, I want to point out that this is a comprehensive approach. You know, this is not a school problem. This is not a police problem. This is not, you know, an individual community or neighborhood in the community problem. You know, this is our problem. This is for Sandwich, and we have to, and which we are, coming together to find the solution. And I think it was very important with Randy, Randy Hunt, who's also very passionate about this, that they are going to talk about solutions, identifying situations before they become a problem, and addressing solutions. And I think it's very important for us to be there and support that, and to use that information which comes out of that panel discussion to help us move forward with our task force.
It is our problem, and what's exciting about what we're going through, and thank you to SCT for letting us do this, let us speak to this issue. The other thing is I believe we can find a solution to this problem for our community, and we can't get caught into the negativity of it. We've got to move forward, and I really am inspired by having a fellow selectman that feels as passionately as I do about it. Thank you. I'm done. You?
I'm done. Thank you very much.